Survival myth in the preparedness culture. So I'm going to call the theme for this episode, Preparedness is Leadership. Now you've heard me say it more than once. If you're not prepared, you're not a leader. It's really that simple. But the question is, have you ever noticed how quickly preparedness conversations turn into a survival contest? Think about it. Who would survive the longest? Who has the best gear? Who's the toughest when everything falls apart? Now, recently, I came across a conversation on a social media site where people were discussing how the homeless population might fare if there was a major societal disruption within their communities. Now, according to what I discovered from looking through that thread, many people believe that they would do better than the average person because they already live outdoors, survive with very little, and are able to adapt to difficult situations. Now, this is an interesting discussion, but it reveals something very important. This conversation exposes some of the biggest myths in the preparedness culture. So what are these myths? Well, let's go with the hardship myth. A lot of people assume survival in a disaster is about who can endure the most hardship. Well, that logic does sound simple. It's just also, who wants to endure hardship? So let's look at it. If somebody is already living with few resources, sleeping outside, scavenging for food, then they must be better prepared for the collapse. But disasters really don't work like that. Survival and emergencies are not determined by who can tolerate the most suffering. It's actually determined by access to specific systems, water systems, food supply chain, communications networks, healthcare, and community support. Because without these systems, survival becomes difficult for everyone. Preparedness is not about suffering better than the next person. It is about building stability before the instability arrives. So the next myth here is the gear myth. This is really sort of like on the opposite side there. Many people believe that whoever has the most equipment or stockpiles will automatically win in a crisis. But history has shown that gear alone does not guarantee resilience. In real disasters, the people and organizations that recover fastest tend to have three things: clear communications, strong leadership, and cooperation between neighbors, families, and communities. Now, of course, supplies do matter. There's no doubt about that. But gear without planning or coordination and leadership will often fall short. Preparedness is not an equipment competition, but it is a leadership discipline. So what's the next myth? The collapse myth. Now, we see movies all the time. Movies and internet discussions often imagine disasters as sudden, dramatic collapse events. But most crises unfold very differently. Infrastructure does not disappear overnight. It weakens. Supply chains become strained. Services degrade slowly. And during these periods, the people who do best are not necessarily the most extreme survivalists. They're the ones who understand how the systems work and how to adapt when those systems are stressed, and they will be stressed. That's why preparedness planning focuses on practical questions like, how will our community communicate if networks fail? Where will we get safe water if utilities stop working? Who in our community can help each other? Now, these are just some questions that help build resilience long before the emergency begins. So let's keep in mind, instead of asking ourselves, who would survive if everything collapsed? A better question is, What systems can we strengthen today so fewer people struggle tomorrow? And that's the real goal of preparedness, not fear, not survival fantasies, but actual leadership. Leadership that protects your family, leadership that helps businesses stay open, leadership that keeps communities stable when disruptions appear. Preparedness is leadership. And the more people who understand that, the stronger our communities will become. So down here in the blog post, there's a couple of links there I'm offering for you to help take the next step in strengthening your preparedness. So I invite you to take the family preparedness snapshot or the business readiness snapshot. Now, these simple assessments will simply help you identify strengths, gaps, and practical steps that you can use to protect and improve your resilience planning. You can learn more at the links below. And until next time, remember, preparedness isn't about predicting disasters. It's about building the leadership and systems that help us weather them when the storm comes. This is Daniel. Till next time, please stay informed and stay safe.